We've got Alice Ford
coming up right now. Hey, everybody, this is Derek, and with me today is the only man who will brush his hair using a porcupine's derriere. Wait a minute. This is Justin. It's impossible to brush your hair when you don't have any. My bad. It's Carl Mandrioli. Here he is. The eighth wonder of the world. What's up, buddy?
Welcome to the Backpacking Legends podcast, everybody. With me today is Derek Somerville. He's a man who does all of his own stunts, but never intentionally.
Exactly.
That's right.
It's the best way to do them.
That's right. We got some stunt talk today. We got a stunt woman on the show. She's a travel guide. She's a lot of things. We're gonna
real deal. This is a real deal.
Yeah. Yep. So we've got her coming up here in a couple minutes, and yeah, I want to get to some of the stunts because I think you actually have done some stunts. We're gonna save that to the end. But one thing I also want to point out is after the interview, we do have something kind of embarrassing. I don't want to tell you about it right now, Derek, that we're gonna have to own up to before the show's over.
I'm nervous about that.
You should. You're not nervous because you're not. Okay. I think
totally
you'll
kidding.
Be fine. You'll be fine.
That's called a verbal stunt.
Success.
Correct.
All right. Bible verse of the episode, Ecclesiastes 11:4. He who observes the wind will not sow, and he who regards the clouds will not reap.
Ooh, deep.
That's
a deep one.
Ecclesiastes. This verse highlights the importance of taking action. So if you could say one thing to all the friends you've had over the years who have rejected your backpacking invites and refused to take adventure action, what would it be, Derek?
Oh, thanks for letting me enjoy all the trips without you, and it was much more enjoyable. Maybe open your ears to some advice. No, I don't know. That's so harsh. That's harsh.
Would you say you've gotten like per capita rejected more with backpacking invites than the rest of our crew?
No, I wouldn't. I think you
get rejected a lot.
Rejected. I don't know. I'm not really seeking to give the advice if they want to poke me.
I'm not saying advice, but like invites on trips.
Oh, invites. Yeah. I think I'm it's low.
Yeah, low percentage of success.
Low percentage. Yeah.
Have you invited anybody that's gone?
I thought you told me I invited one, but then I was like, I don't think I invited this person.
They just kind of made their way in.
And you're like, no, dude, you invited them. I was like, I don't know. I think part of me is just like, I don't want to deal with be responsible for somebody else. I don't want to do it. I'm enough to be, you know what I mean?
I don't want to have to be responsible. There's an element to that.
I already got to look out for you. It's enough, So
that's right. That's what you do. You look out for a lot of people on the trip. You're constantly mindful and helpful nonstop.
I'm glad you see that. Thank you. Appreciate it. I know that's genuine.
Right. Speaking of trip stories and adventures, let's get to it, my friend. Alice Ford, here we go.
Do it.
With us today is an award-winning adventure filmmaker, a travel host, and a stunt woman. Alice Ford, how's it going?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Yes. Thank you so much for having me. Welcome. Yes.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on our show.
Congratulations on being you. That's like a fun life you've had. I can't wait to dive into this.
Here with you guys, 2 stunt doubles as well that double for each other, which is
really, I know. For those that are just listening, Derek put Carl's stunt double on YouTube, and I put Derek Stuntman, which is
it's really I should have put I'm your stunt friend because I have to hire friends to be your friends.
I'm in that world. You're right. That is
survive with you. Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so you've done, you have quite the resume, and you've got quite the travel experience. You've got quite the adventure experience. So let's just jump right in. What's the craziest thing you've done or experienced across the world?
Craziest thing. I think hiking Cotopaxi in Ecuador during a snowstorm was pretty crazy. There was 0 visibility at the top.
Oh, fun. That's super fun.
Wow. Were you by yourself?
I was with a guide, luckily, but it was just us 2. And I was a little bit slower than there was a couple other groups that had gone, before us. And I was kind of the last one to summit that morning. And he was just kind of we have to get up here. Otherwise we're going to get stuck and we're not going to be able to get down. And I was like, okay. So we finally made it to the top and I couldn't see anything. He was like, we're here. And I was like,
cool.
I was like,
let's go.
All you could see was white. It was like being in a black and white movie. And then by the time we got back down to basically the mountain hut where you start, I was head to toe in icicle. My eyelashes were frozen.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Frozen solid.
That's what I'm talking about.
I had icicles off the top of my hat.
Wow.
So that was pretty wild. And obviously really challenging as far as like hiking goes.
That's how you live life, Carl. That's how you live life right there.
With icicles on my face.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what? Yeah, for those that don't know Cotopaxi or Ecuador, so Ecuador is a South American country, and
thank you.
Not everybody knows their geography. Trust me, I know. So what's Cotopaxi? Is it like how high of a mountain are we talking about? I assume it's part of the Andes mountain range.
Yeah, so Cotopaxi is I think it's 19,600-ish. So it's a little bit taller than Kilimanjaro. It's like 6 feet or 6 meter. I can't remember if it's 6 feet or 6 meters higher, but yes, it's a little bit higher than Kilimanjaro. It's the second tallest mountain in Ecuador, and it's also an active volcano.
So, fun! Nice.
Yeah. So after I climbed it, it's now basically been not closed in totality, but people have not been able to go to the summit in the last, I want to say, year because it's actually been erupting.
Okay.
So 2 days after,
okay. It's not Corona or COVID, can't do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Making sure.
And then 2 days after I climbed that, I actually tried to summit Chimborazo, which is the tallest mountain in Ecuador, and that's over 20,000 feet. Wow. And but the weather got really bad, and the avalanche danger was really high. So we slept at like 17.8, and then ended up not attempting the summit.
What a failure. Did you feel like a failure? I mean, gosh, just 17? Jeez. God, Alice, come on. You're supposed to be a legend.
You're saucy with this interview. My goodness gracious.
19 to 17? Okay. All right. We'll get to, all right.
So you live, at or near sea level in the Los Angeles area. So what did you do specifically? Like what were some tips you'd have for going that? I mean, that's such a drastic change, 0 feet to 19,000 plus. Do you do anything specific?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I definitely live a very active lifestyle, and I do a lot of running and endurance, not like crazy. I run 3 to 5 miles and do a lot of HIIT workouts and things like that, just on my daily life. Try to get out and hike as much as I can. But when I went to Ecuador, I actually spent a week in the Cotopaxi area. So so the 4 or 5 days before I did Cotopaxi, I did a bunch of other acclimatization hikes. So my first hike was in Quito, which is the capital of Ecuador, is around 10,000 feet. So when you just fly in, you're like, I immediately have altitude sickness.
Right.
Yeah.
So just you just gradually get higher and higher, basically. So over the next 4 or 5 days, I did there's a hike right in Quito where you can take a gondola up to the top of a mountain and then hike more. So I did that. And then I went to the mountain region and I did 3 different acclimatization hikes over the next 3 days where I did 13,000 and then 15,000 and then 16,000.
What's this obsession with just, going higher? Is there an obsession just to get high?
Obsession. She's just acclimating. What are you talking about?
When is Everest happening, Alice? When is Everest happening? I did 15 Edison, I did 19,
I might have a small obsession with hiking the tallest.
You're right there. You're so close. Oh my gosh. You're right there.
At one point I was I'm going to hike the tallest mountain in every state. Okay. And in some of the states, that's really easy.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Kansas, yeah, it's
Oklahoma's got some big ones. Yeah, that's true.
Sure.
That's crazy. Okay, so I got a question. We're gonna put Carl aside for a minute here. This is me and you time right here. Okay, you're heading to a place that is probably my favorite place. You're going to Antarctica soon. What do you got going on there? That was a life changer for me. So what do you have going on there?
Oh, I'm so glad that you went. That's amazing.
Oh, it's amazing.
I was and just background. I was wondering at what point Derek would reveal that he'd also been in Antarctica.
Of course,
kind of
this
brag
is a
about
special
it.
place. Absolutely.
The answer is as part of the question is when he would reveal that.
Again, we're gonna put you aside from it. So what do you? This is your first time, right? Going down here.
This is gonna be my first time to Antarctica, my 7th continent.
Well, let me give you some input. No, I'm just kidding. So what do you? Are you just doing a cruise, a trek, or what are you doing down there?
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a cruise with the Ocean Albatross, which is a new ship. It's pretty small. It's 200 guests. And I actually am very fortunate to know the woman that owns a tour company in New Zealand, and it's their ship.
Oh. So are you going from New Zealand or are you going from Argentina?
No, we're going from Ushuaia.
Ushuaia, yeah, that's where I went from.
It's going to be mostly New Zealand I would assume most of the passengers will be from New Zealand, and actually the former Prime Minister of New Zealand will also be on the ship.
Wow.
The ship
Whoa.
host.
I mean,
wait, are you going to interview him as part of?
Hold up.
Yeah, I'm going to try to do that. Yeah.
Okay.
She's just one-upping me just like right away. I get it. So if they give you an opportunity, I don't know if they've already given you like an itinerary. Like, did they give you the opportunity to like sleep on the peninsula and all this other stuff?
Yeah, so we're not going to get to do that on our ship. I know we do get to like actually go to land.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure specifically what kind of like land-based activities we'll get to do out of kind of the normal like kayaking and
yeah, that was awesome. Kayaking was awesome.
But yeah, I'm really excited to see penguins and whales.
Yes.
And, yeah.
Yes.
I got a penguin question for you.
Oh boy, here we go.
Because Derek revealed that he got pretty close to some penguins, and then he had, I don't know, I think it was like the animal police. Part of his group was like, okay, do not touch the penguins. Do not touch the penguins. And so Derek did a really good job following directions, and he didn't. But to be honest, if I was down there when the animal police turn away, I'm going to give a penguin a big hug. Where do you stand with this, Alex?
Wow.
I mean, I kind of have to agree with you. I know you're not supposed to touch the animals, but actually there was a really cute video. It was kind of sad, but also really nice that I saw the other day. That was a group of scientists and filming penguins. And most of the time you're not supposed to intervene if you see like animals in distress or something. Right. And basically because the ice is melting, all the penguins had like gone into kind of this like, not like a ravine, but like an area where the snow dipped down and it was steep and they couldn't get back out. So they were basically all trapped in this like gully.
You gotta help them
with their babies.
You gotta go help them. I mean,
yeah. So the scientists decided after a while, I guess they were like, we can't just sit and watch this anymore. So they dug stairs into the snow.
Oh wow!
And then within like a couple hours, the penguins figured it out, and they were all marching back up to like where they lived.
March of the Penguins. That's where it started. That's where it started.
I thought you said I thought you were gonna say like they grabbed the babies with their hands and then like rescued them that way, and I was like, I'm in on that.
Oh, Carl, so young, so
no,
naive.
but I mean, I love wildlife, and I definitely like have been places where I'm like, I'm just gonna sit here and see if the animals come.
You're gonna get blown away. That's all I'm gonna say. You're gonna blown away. I was kayaking, and then all of a sudden you hear like the blowhole like maybe 5 feet away from you. It was unbelievable. I got the pictures up here, but we'll talk about that later. Let's talk about your experiences, like just as a stunt woman. Like, what types of stunts were you doing? What kind of productions were you doing? What was some of your experiences doing that?
Yeah, so I grew up doing gymnastics, also springboard diving and pole vaulting.
Wow.
As well
of course, obviously pole vaulting. That's the first thing I thought. When you got on, I was like, she's a pole vaulter. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean,
obviously. Yeah.
So I got into stunts. I was like 25, 27, like later than I think most people
post college then.
Post college, because I actually then worked in corporate America, and then I went and worked in hotels in the Bahamas, and I finally found myself living in Louisiana, and there's a bit of a film industry there. There was, years ago, and was pole vaulting at the time, and met some people in the industry, and they were all like, "Oh my gosh, you'd make a really good stunt woman." And I was like, "Oh, what is that?"
So are pole vaulters associated with stunts? I mean,
is your coach says this, or who's telling you this?
I met some friends that happened to be stunt people and movie people, and
they all pole vault, Carl. Okay.
They knew I was an athlete and were like, have you ever thought about doing this? Because I was already working in film and like as an extra and as a TV host and things like that.
Yeah,
and so it was kind of a natural transition to start learning film fighting and things like that. But gymnastics is my main background. So like flipping, falling, anything with like body movement and body awareness, which is like so much of stunts, is just knowing where you are when you're flying through the air so that you can look like you really got hurt but land safely.
Carl, don't nod your head like you know what she's talking about.
I'm nodding my head like I can't believe. Yeah,
unbelievable.
Somebody does that.
You can barely make it up to the bathroom by yourself. Okay, well that sounds pretty cool.
I've got three stunt ideas for you that are more in the backpacking
Here
realm.
we go. All right.
So my question is, which of these would you be most willing to pull off? Let's say you're part of a backpacking movie or a documentary that's trying to like recreate a scene or something. I don't know. So I've got three. Which one which kind of fits your skill set here?
Okay.
Option A, a grizzly bear enters your camp. Without hesitation, you pull out 2 cans of bear spray from your belt holsters and unleash a fury of aerosol that sends the bear away. Kind of like in dramatic fashion where you're like, boom, like, it's almost like quick draw, but with double bear spray canisters. Okay.
Alice, Jesse James. Got it.
We're assuming we're watching from behind since you're the stunt woman here. So, and then of course the actual actress has the one-liner. So
that's option A.
Okay, that's option A. Yeah. Okay. All right. Option B. You rappel down the side of a cliff and realize your rope isn't long enough. You have to unhook and jump into a lake 20 feet below.
Okay.
Unknown depth, so it's kind of risky.
That's my pick so far.
Okay. Third one. Option C. You set up a Tyrolean traverse between 2 mountain ridges. Derek has the appropriate harness and climbing gear and is traveling across the fixed line. Suddenly, his harness breaks. You've got to climb out onto the line and save him.
She's letting me die.
The time's running out, of course.
She's seen Mission Impossible. She's letting me die.
Okay, is that it? A, B,
That's it.
Cliffhanger.
I'm going to go with B because have you guys seen the movie Fall? There was like a rock climbing movie where they're stuck on a tower that's like 1,000 feet tall.
Right. Yeah, they both died though, right?
Well, one of the girls dies, but I was in
that alert.
And I doubled the girl that died. And one of my
did you really?
Yeah, one of my scenes was rappelling on a rope that was too short. I get to the end, I have to untie myself, hang, and then swing to a satellite dish.
That sounds amazing.
But you died in the process, it sounds like.
Well, there's a flashback, so it's a whole thing. She was already dead at that point, but we didn't know.
We didn't know. I'm gonna have to watch Fall. Yeah, I saw that and I'm like, this can't end well. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Okay. That's exciting.
And so that's what Cliffhanger was the third one, by the way. That was a reference.
Cliffhanger. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I remember that one.
Yeah. Okay. Appreciate it. Yeah. She's gonna let me die on that one.
And the person died, but it was role reversal, gender reversal there. Okay. Okay. So we're kind of touching on all these different things you've done and all these different adventures you've had. So for people like Derek who struggle to get off the couch,
right.
What's one place or thing that they need to experience? What, if you said this has to be next on your list, so long as you can afford the time and the cost.
Ooh, other than Antarctica,
right? She doesn't know yet. Maybe that she hasn't been there yet.
I'm telling her to go. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Obviously. She's thinking there's so many. She's going through the file of just like hundreds of adventures.
I guess it kind of depends on what you like because
she's Are you thinking altitude right now? Or are you thinking like they need to go to like 15,000 feet? No, they need to go to like 17,000.
Well, if you're not afraid of like things in the water, the Galapagos, swimming with sea lions is amazing.
Ooh, okay. I heard there were restrictions on that. Aren't there like restrictions on going there and doing that though, or no?
There's only a certain amount of boats allowed at each island at specific times.
Got it. Okay.
And then I would also recommend
Galapagos
safari in Africa.
That is amazing. Yes, that is amazing. Carl, seems like you need to get out more. Safari in Africa.
I need to get out more because I haven't done either of those
Carl,
things.
You have monkeys and baboons outside your cabin. I mean, that's your living. You got hippos down there threatening your life. You got alligator. What?
I thought you said Colorado. You live in Colombia?
I don't know what he's talking about.
No, the African safari. Okay. Carl sees like foxes and dogs. That's about it. So. It's pretty exciting over there in Castle Rock.
All
folks.
the wild dogs that are roaming the streets for sure.
They're dangerous over there in Colorado with those rabies. So that's pretty exciting.
Okay. All right. Okay. So
Galapagos and safaris.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good
to know. All right.
Yeah.
And then I also want to hit on some backpacking stuff. We kind of talked about it beforehand. You do all sorts of travel and adventure, but you're a backpacker as well. Yeah. And you put out a gear video, like a gear loadout video, and I love watching these. And you had a pack that was 40 pounds. And admittedly, in the video, you're like, I could probably lighten this up, but here's what I have in my pack. So since putting that video out, what would be some of the things you change about how you packed for that trip or how you pack in general? Like, these are kind of just general tips for folks out there that might have a similar 40-pound problem.
Yeah. Well, I did do several other backpacking trips after that video. And I will say that my backpack was not much lighter.
Okay. Ooh, 39? What are we talking about?
Because I took things out, but then I also put other things back in.
She's stealing penguins and rocks on the trail. I don't know.
So I think, the things that I took out from my bag were definitely like some of the extra clothes. I definitely usually pack, or in that gear loadout video, like for Catalina Trail, I had like extra leggings for sleeping in. I had some extra stuff for the cold, and it actually didn't end up being that cold. So I didn't need like probably some of that stuff. And clothes are like the heaviest thing in the room. So
do you bring pajama pants? Are you a big pajama pants person?
I like
leggings. You just said that.
Well, I had like
you said leggings though.
I had like smart wool, like
see,
like capri pants that I usually wear skiing, but they're like I wear them like sleeping if it's cold.
Classifies. It classifies.
Yeah.
See?
So I had those, and then
so she said that she had leggings for sleeping, and you follow up with, "Did you bring pajama pants?" So in your mind, she would have the leggings and the pajama pants.
I don't know what she's been on hundreds of trips here, dude. I'm asking, like, leggings are considered not pajama pants to some people, so I just gotta see where she's at.
Okay.
Yeah,
she's got the capris.
When I travel, I wear like shorts to sleep, but
okay.
But yeah, I took out some clothes, but then as you guys know, and for anyone listening, I'm also a filmmaker, so I have like all this electronics.
Right.
Have
super heavy
battery packs and tripods and cameras, and not just one camera, multiple cameras, multiple batteries.
That's what it is.
Like I did the West Coast Trail in Canada earlier in the summer, and I brought a solar panel with a huge battery bank to be able to recharge all those cameras.
Oh, wow.
Did the sun shine there? In British Columbia, I always feel like it's overcast all the time.
Well, I think this year in particular, I really had the weather goddess smile upon me because, like, as I said, Catalina Trail, great weather.
What can you do?
Coast Trail, which is usually like 6 days of torrential rain. I had 6 days of sunshine.
That's amazing.
And I had I camped at a beach, the whole beach to myself. I laid out my solar panel. I went swimming. It was great.
Okay. Maybe she needs to plan when we go on our next trip then, Carl, because we get.
But it's a lot of extra weight, and I mean, I probably have like at least 8 pounds of camera equipment
easily.
Because I usually shoot with a Sony A7S III, and that in itself is like 4 pounds.
Yeah.
Right. It's not light. I just
you have multiple lenses probably too, I would imagine.
Normally backpacking, I just bring my 16 to 35, like a wide angle, but because a zoom lens is too big and too fragile.
Huge.
It would be full of dirt, and then I'd just have like spots all over the lens.
That's fun.
So. Okay, but if you're talking about lightening your load, so obviously not everybody's a filmmaker. So let's do the 40 pounds minus 8. So 32 is still on the heavier side. Yeah. So Derek is, I don't know, I think you said you're like a 3 outfits guy for a 3 to 5 day backpacking trip, Derek.
3 outfits?
Yeah, 3. Yeah, and I think you used the phrase outfit, which is not very masculine.
I did not. Well, you're creating words.
Alice, how many outfits would you bring on a 3 to 5 day backpacking trip, just as a comparison?
1.
Well,
not Catalina.
Yeah, it's hard to say, I guess. I would have definitely a pair of shorts, a pair of pants, three pairs of bottoms, probably.
Okay.
And then at least 2 t-shirts, but then I would probably also have a pullover of some sort, and then maybe a jacket and a rain jacket.
That's not really devoted outfits like Derek has, more just
devoted. Yes, I saran wrap and seal them each in a bag. Yeah.
So more just kind of piecemealing it based on the need for the day or for the weather.
Yeah, I mean, definitely always pack for what the weather conditions are. And I think, in my first couple of backpacking trips too, it was ooh, do I take a rain jacket and a poncho that covers my backpack? Or do I just do a rain jacket and a backpack cover? So those kinds of decisions I think are always hard to know, and if you haven't, hiked in rain necessarily, it's until you do, you don't really know which gear option you like if you haven't really tried it. On Cotopaxi, I had one of those big ponchos because it was sleeting for our whole first day. But the thing, for whatever reason, kept flapping open on the side, so it was I was covered on one side, and then half my backpack was not covered, and then and it was just like a big blue, you know, it was just like a big blue monster. Like I looked like a mess.
Big blue monster. There you go. Cookie monster in the wild. Here we
Right.
go.
I mean,
That's good.
I guess you had that one experience. I was going to say, do you even need to bring the rain jacket or the poncho if you're getting all this nice weather? But
but who knows, right? Because
Right.
West Coast
No, I'm just
Trail,
joking. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The one thing I'll say, just in looking at the video, and you already mentioned this in the video itself, was so you have a pretty luxurious tent. You got it looked like a spacious 2-person. I think it was a Big Agnes tent.
Oh yeah, on Catalina Trail, yes. So after
Luxury.
yes, I was using the Big Agnes Mountain Glow tent, which I love that tent because it actually has lights inside and
right.
Fun. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so it's like really nice. But so after that video, I actually downsized to an Outdoor Vitals 1-person ultralight tent.
Oh, nice.
That's what I took with me on the West Coast Trail, and then since then have like Cascades and other places here in the Pacific Northwest. But that tent's way lighter, way smaller footprint, and I like it. I haven't had to use it in inclement weather yet, so I don't really know how it holds up in like rain or anything.
Okay. They're pretty good. We like Outdoor Vitals stuff. We've been using it for a while now.
Yeah, I have a lot of stuff by them, and I really like my top quilt is by them as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
We'll let them know.
So yeah, I'm still okay. If you probably shaved at least 2, maybe 3 pounds off of your pack just from that. So if you go that plus camera gear, taking that out of your pack, you got to be closer to
30.
Yeah, 30 or under. That's my prediction.
Yeah. So, and then the other thing I changed, I guess, from that first video to now is that I actually reduced my cook stove. I was using the jet boil, which I really love for like how fast it boils water, but I downsized to just a Toaks aluminum pot and then like a teeny tiny little like fold out stove. That like, you know, is like the size of like my like little remote control for my lights. So that, and it weighs like, I don't know, a few ounces. It's like almost nothing. And that fits inside the pot, and then the gas fits inside. So that was like a big weight and space saver too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Versus the jet boil. So that definitely saved me. I don't know how many ounces because I've honestly never done all that, but that was a change that I made too.
14.5 ounces. That's great. It's good to know.
But then, you know what's funny? Do you guys use those Toaks pots?
No, I mean, I've got one similar. I've got kind of an older one. I've been using it now for like most of the summer, and then I actually read on their website that they're not meant to be like cooked in, and I was like,
oh really?
I haven't heard that one. Wait, what? They're not supposed
on their website, like whatever size I have, it was like not meant for this like not meant for cooking, and I was like, okay.
What's it meant for then?
You know what this reminds me of?
Just making your food in, or using as a coffee cup, or because I have like a small one because I'm.
So you're using something it's not meant to be used for. You know what this reminds me of, Carl?
What's that?
The time I was at REI and the guy said, "Don't use a 36-liter pack as a
the legendary REI story." Yeah.
And I said, "Nay, I'm going to use it as a backpacking backpack, not a day pack."
Sounds like you and Alice are cut from the same cloth that way. That's impressive.
I mean, when you go to Antarctica, you have a connection. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried a lot of different things. I mean, I went when I did Long's Peak, and that was like my first like backpacking by myself, and I didn't have a backpack with me. I only had my camera bag, so I literally just like strapped everything onto the outside.
Oh well, do you prefer?
I look ridiculous.
Well, let me ask you, what do you prefer? Do you prefer, because you've done solo, you've done group, what do you prefer? Is there one you prefer over the other or not really?
I mean, I would say like I always prefer like solo, but I mean, I think group stuff is like, it's easier because you have other people to carry your stuff.
But people are annoying.
How is your group set up? You're like, carry my stuff, please.
Well, I mean, like last year, my sister and I did Glacier. And we like divided, okay, I'll carry the
dividing your gear.
You carry the tent, or like, you know, that kind of stuff. So I was like, oh, my backpack's like so nice.
But people are annoying and you want to be by yourself. I get it. I mean, you know, I've hiked with him for 20 years, so I get that feeling.
Derek, you kind of skipped past something she said that I want to touch upon. So she said that her first trip, so you said it was your first backpacking trip was to Long's Peak.
Yeah.
And you said that you looked ridiculous with the pack that you had. Strangely, Derek also, his first trip also looked really absurd because what did you have?
Correct. I had it only Alice. I brought a fanny pack. What was that?
On a backpacking trip.
Legend mode engaged.
Yeah. So
right.
Again,
I mean,
strange connection.
I don't know. You know, sometimes you got to live a little bit, Carl. It's called a stunt. It's called a backpacking, a limiting backpacking stunt. And I pulled it up. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I probably would have been just as well off with like just 2 tote bags with like all this stuff stuffed into it, because it was just like so inefficient. I didn't have like a water filter. I didn't I didn't bring a stove. I brought like a thermos with coffee for like the next morning. I had like an extra sandwich for the next day. And then
it was a thermos that had hot coffee in it, and you're like, this will stay hot until the next morning.
And it did.
Okay.
Yeah. The next morning I woke up and I was like,
It really does work. It really does work.
Okay, and for those who don't know, Longs Peak is a mountain. It's a 14,000 foot mountain in Colorado, and it's known to be one of the more dangerous ones. And so for a first backpacking trip, that is very aggressive and impressive. So well done.
Thank you. Well,
did you make it?
Aggressive, I guess. In my
Did she die?
Choices. I'm still here. I did lose my phone. I did make it to the top. I lost my phone off a cliff.
Oh. Like, the keyhole spot where it's like where it's very exposed, is in that spot? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it was right after the keyhole, kind of like going up the trough. And my camera backpack has like a slot in the strap for a phone, and it has a zipper, and I like didn't zip it because I kept taking it out and filming.
Come on, Alice.
I had to lean over like really far to climb over a rock, and it fell out.
Rookie move. All the pictures. That's terrible.
I'm so sorry. That's a bummer. But people have lost a lot more on that trail. I feel like every year here in Colorado, there's at least one person that goes missing on that trail.
Oh, yeah.
Where they're descending, they get lost, or it's maybe too early in the season, so it's snowy and they lose their way, even though it's a pretty crowded trail, strangely. And or somebody has major altitude. They just think it's kind of just like a hike in the national park, but it's not. It's like, a big deal. So
yeah, I had a guy email me after I put that video out, because that video, for whatever reason, really took off. And he basically had said, oh, I tried to do this hike, totally unprepared. I think out of towner, got lost in the night, like trying to come down. Because, most people hike it in the dark. They do it as a
Right.
And got lost, got off the trail somewhere. I think it was snowing or raining. And basically was like lost on the mountain for like 8 hours or something until he finally found his way back to the trail.
Yikes.
But he definitely, in his email to me, it was like it was a near-death experience, and I'm really lucky to be alive today.
Yeah.
But yeah, awesome. I mean, I think people definitely, Colorado and Utah, you get so many people that fly there from other states, like from sea level, and they just arrive immediately to the airport and then go to the mountains to hike a 14er. And it's like they haven't done any acclimatization. They probably were drinking beers earlier. Like, it's just like, of course you're going to get altitude sickness or just feel like total crap.
Yeah.
In the next day or so, because you're not, so people don't take it seriously. And,
well, they should.
They should.
I like you're saying that, because on the trip to the Maroon Bells, Derek, those were only 12,000 foot mountain passes, and you basically got off the plane, crashed out, and went, right?
I think so. Yeah, I don't remember. You wrote it down. You keep a journal of everything. That's what you tell me. I know it's only 12, Alice. I know it's only 12. I'm sorry. I'm
not for 6 hours, and then we start the hike. I journal like that.
A lot of people get altitude sickness at as low as like 8,000 feet. I mean, when I did Kilimanjaro, we had, I feel terrible for this woman that was in our group, but she had to turn around at 12,000 feet because her altitude sickness was so bad that she wasn't allowed to continue on the trail. So.
How do they say that? They just say, "Hey, you're not allowed to go. Get out of here," or what's the phrasing on that?
Well, I mean, Kilimanjaro, there's like a whole thing with, because you can definitely like pay to have like a really crappy, like cheap guide that they're not following the rules and they're not going to maintain your safety. But if you choose a guide company that is good and like certified with the local organizations, they should be testing your blood oxygen level every morning and every evening. And if that level is below like a certain number, I can't remember off the top of my head, if it's like below 86 or something, it's actually like a health risk for you to continue, because you could get pulmonary edema, or you could just like have altitude sickness so bad they need to be like choppered out or something like that. And so the better guide companies have basically enough guides to be able to send one back with people, a certain number of people, that don't make it, and then the rest can continue.
What do they call those guys? Like, you're the quitting guide. Like you walk
the failure
the
friend.
side.
He's the failure friend.
The failure friend, I guess.
Yeah, failure friend. Yeah, that's it.
That's I would hate that job. That's terrible. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
I don't know how they decide, obviously, between the guides. Like, okay, well, who drew the?
They probably rotate. I bet they rotate, right?
I would assume that they do. And also maybe it's just like, yeah, I don't feel like hiking to 20,000 feet today. I'll go.
I'll go to like 18. I'll go 18. No more than 18. Well, we'll get there. I think the highest I've done is 13 now, so I'm not in your ballpark yet, but hopefully we'll get there someday. One day.
I went from, I mean, I did, I'm trying to think. I think I did Kilimanjaro first and then my first 14er. So
wow. Okay. Out of order, but if you can pull it off, you can pull it off.
When you're a big deal, you're a big deal, Carl. You know, it is what it is. So, okay, let's see. What do you have coming up? What do you have coming up on your YouTube channel? Like, what's going on in your world that we can get excited and plug for you? Or
oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I just got back from Jordan.
Wow.
So that will be out on the channel soon. Okay. Although I am leaving for Antarctica in 2 weeks. So there's a big content cram that I have to do in the next 2 weeks.
I would love an email update, but I know you'll probably get busy, but just curious how that goes. I'm always curious how people's trips over there go.
She's not emailing you.
Just give me the update. Just give me the update.
Sign up for my newsletter and you might get it.
Okay. Fair enough.
And then, after Antarctica, I'll actually stay in Patagonia, and I'm going to do the W track in Torres del Paine.
As you should.
And yeah, what else? And then I'm actually going back to Chile in January, and I'm going to be doing some of the Route of the Parks. And for those that don't know what that is, Chile has 17 national parks that are drivable. It takes like 3 weeks to do them all, but I'm going to be doing about 10 days of several of the national parks in kind of the north and central regions of Chile with glaciers and lakes, and so that will be really exciting too. So that'll be on the channel later at the beginning of the year as well. So
sounds like the goal is just to hike the world, basically.
You're doing it. You're doing
it. Do you just hate planning these trips? I bet you're like, oh, where am I gonna go now? I gotta plan this trip to the Jordan.
So I have like a trip vision board. You can't see it. It's on my other wall, but yeah, I definitely have like a bucket list like of destinations that I want to visit. Like New Zealand is on that list.
Carl, I mean, come on, let's talk about it.
Yep.
New Zealand. Used to live in New Zealand. That is a magical place. Probably, I don't know. I could just go on and on about New Zealand, but
okay.
Well,
so you got Jordan, you got Antarctica, and you got some South American stuff coming up on the channel.
Yeah, that sounds great.
For anyone that lives in the Pacific Northwest as well, my show is actually going to be on PBS stations in January as well.
Wow!
Really?
Congrats.
Okay.
In January, PBS January.
So your YouTube channel, what you're producing there, is going to be plugged into PBS as like a public network show.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit different, but a lot of the videos that I've shot are expanded upon, and then I'm shooting like a whole new season. So the first season is going to be basically like domestic. It's US and Canada. So it's a lot of the stuff that people have seen on the channel, but expanded. And then season 2 is going to be a lot of the international destinations. So like Patagonia, Jordan, where I just was, Ecuador, and some TBD locations.
So we'll look for the updates on the channel then, right? That sounds great.
We'll have links in our show description if you want to check out her YouTube channel. In the meantime, if you don't live in the Pacific Northwest, if you do, you can check her out on PBS upcoming. And so, man, Alice, I'm so excited for all these adventures you're doing, and thanks for sharing a little bit about what you've got going on and your advice and your experiences. Really appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. And
all right, that was Alice Ford. Reactions, Derek, what you got?
Reaction, go. I mean, you know, she's just an adventurer, you know. I mean, I think that's she's got like that streak I think we all want or have, and I think it's awesome that she's able to like film a lot of it and document it and show it to the world, and let us see places that we probably wouldn't normally see. You know, I think it's, you know, I think part of me is envious. She gets to do all these cool things, but at the same time, I think I don't know. Would you want to hike and do all these trails? I don't know if I'd want to hike all these places. I think that's her passion, obviously. But
yeah, no, I want to go all these places, but I'm not a solo person. So
right,
that's an interesting question you asked her. And so I prefer to go with groups and to share my experience with others. I know For some people, that's the kind of their time to kind of get away, and I totally get that, but not for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think solo hike. If I'm going to go travel all those places, I probably wouldn't want to be by myself because I've done traveling by myself. It's not my favorite thing. So
yeah. Okay, that was like a general. You basically just gave me like a summary of what she said. So let's jump into like some details here. Okay, so
what do you want to know?
No, I'm just gonna. I got some reactions. So the first thing was I asked her about the penguin experience. I was a little disappointed in you that you didn't actually at least pet a penguin when you're down in Antarctica. And then she said that she was kind of on my side on this one. So upon further reflection of your own trip, was that a missed opportunity?
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
They were happy. They were having fun. We had a great time. We were lounging
You get one chance to hug or pet a penguin. This is your opportunity. And you're like, I'm going to pass.
You know what? I took a different risk in a different way. Not with the penguins, but with the refugee shelter. And I went in there I wasn't supposed to and saw some amazing things.
We don't know the story.
So that was my risk.
I don't want to hang out with penguins. I want to go into a refugee shelter and save lives.
I went into there's little shacks everywhere. I didn't mention the story, but there's little shacks everywhere and you're not allowed to go in. And so I didn't know that. Who
says that? Is there like refugee police or what's going on here?
You're told not to just stay outside. Don't go over there. But me and a couple of buddies, one from England, one from Australia, were like, you know what? We're like 10 feet from this thing. And the leaders are like way over there.
Yeah.
Let's just go sneak in. So we snuck in and
it locked? Like you describe it better. What's going on?
Well, what was it? I mean, it's like a little, one room little wooden shed with like a kitchen and some chairs and a table. So like if these things have been there for like 80 to 100 years. And so like if you were out in the wilderness, it's like a shelter essentially. So on the table though is like a book that you'd sign your name and what date it is. And so there were dates and names in there from like 1902, 1907. So I thought that was like really cool and I wasn't supposed to see it. So glad I got away with it.
Did you take the book?
I should have, but no, I didn't.
How much is that worth on eBay? Refugee, I don't even know what you call that, like some sort of sign-in book?
Refugee ledger?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Antarctican ledger? I don't know.
Right, I'll give you 5 points for at least doing that.
Whew, good. I was worried. I think it was. I mean, she's got just a lot of. It's crazy how many trips she has planned, right? I mean, to every continent. So, I mean, what are you? If you had this time, all that time, are you doing the same thing, or are you still doing what you're doing? What are you doing? If you have all this flexibility.
Are you going to hang out with me at these fun places?
Are we going together?
That's what I'm asking you. I want to go with somebody. So
you want a partner. You're not going to do what I'm not going to do what she's doing. But you're like, I would do it if I had somebody to go with.
100%. So if my wife would go, if some buddies would go, that's kind of that's kind of how I work it. So
that's harder to plan that though when you have to include other people. Obviously,
we learned that by going to Canada this past summer and how hard that was to plan and the logistics involved. So agreed.
Exactly.
Agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see other takeaways here. So she was a stunt woman and she kind of alluded to some things that she was doing and kind of her skills there. Any interest in being
pole vaulting?
Or being a stunt man in general?
No, that's crazy. I mean, I like a good adventure, but I mean, you just hear the stories of stunt man, the injuries and stuff. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the movies would be pretty fun, though. I gotta say, it'd be fun. I would maybe try the movie stunts. And she is. I mean, I don't know. It's weird how she got involved with that when you're like track and field ish, pole vaulting ish, and you just meet. She said she was doing extra work, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, what a cool door to open up. I mean, I don't know how the pay is in stunt world, but what a cool experience. I'm sure it's awesome.
We do some stunts and like sort of stunts in the backcountry, but as non-professionals, it doesn't go as well for us. So the last stunt I remember pulling off was, so there's like this, one of the Jason Bourne movies where he jumps out of a window into like another window of a building. Do you remember that one? The stunt was like the stunt man did that. And then there was like a stunt cameraman that jumped out right after him and like followed him in or something like that. It was something crazy. And so I used that idea and we had this waterfall in Ansel Adams Wilderness. There's a waterfall and somebody's going to jump off of a high rock into the waterfall pool. And then our good buddy Rocky was going to jump right after him with a GoPro. And we pull off the stunt and up comes Rocky with the GoPro handle, but not the camera. And that has been lost, frozen in ice for about 3 years now.
Yeah. We searched for that puppy.
Yeah. It's still there, man. We got to go back and check it out. Bring some goggles. Yeah. So, Anyway, we kind of covered a lot of ground. Alice was great. You were a little out of control during the interview. You said the name Alice, like probably about 100 times during the interview. You were super saucy, and
What should I call her? Gal? Lady? What do you want to say?
You just can start talking. You can say Alice and start talking. You don't need to say Alice 3 times and then start talking.
So, folks, if you need speech and talking lessons, it's backpackingandblisterspodcast.com. Carl will give you linguistics.
If we go back and re-listen to this episode compared to any other interview I've ever done, how many more times did you say the guest name than a typical interview?
Well, 1, it was a fun name to say. 2, I think I got excited because she keeps hitting all these places that like either I've lived in or
I
you're
want to
going
talk about this. Carl, interview me.
I want to be talking about New Zealand. I got excited. So you get curious, Okay. So
yeah.
She handled it well.
The answer is 50 times more you said Alice than any other name.
To be fair, I did say before the interview I was going to deviate from the questions. So
okay.
There you go.
All right.
There you go. It's good. I got trivia, and it's stunt trivia, and it'll be coming up right after this.
Stunt trivia. I'm excited. What you got?
Stunt trivia. We got a few questions for you. I want to see what you know about me, about stunts, about people. Here we go. Okay. Question 1. Who is the most famous stuntman of all time?
I don't know. All right. Do
you
have
know?
Multiple choice for this one?
No, this is like a pretty easy one. He's well-known, famous, American stuntman.
Oh, I mean, if you're talking about like stuntman performer, it's got to be Evel Knievel, right?
There you go, Evel Knievel. Okay, nice. Okay, I thought that was an easy one, but okay.
Well, is he known as a stuntman or just as like I guess so.
He was a stuntman, of course.
I think stunt motor. I don't know.
Do you know what his big stunt was?
Like jumping across the Grand Canyon?
It was the Snake River Canyon, correct? And not the Grand Canyon, but he actually didn't make it, and he fell to the bottom and survived. So, he's well known for that, just like you're well known for failing as well. So number 2 is what 220-meter stunt in Switzerland was done in a James Bond GoldenEye movie? It's the very first scene of the movie, Carl.
Oh, is it like jumping off of some sort of waterfall or down a dam or something like that?
What was the stunt though? What were they doing? What was it? What did he?
Oh, like what was he trying to? What action was he trying to like?
Yeah, what stunt was it? What was he doing?
I think I saw that movie in the theaters, and there were some inappropriate parts, and so I had to close my eyes probably for most of the movie, if I'm being honest. But
what? This is the opening scene.
Yeah. What year was this movie released?
That's not your trivia to give.
A long time ago.
You were
the
pretty.
90s.
You were pretty. I'm sorry. You were pretty accurate. It was a dam. Okay. It was a Verzasca dam. Actually,
it's like trying to escape the bad guys. Isn't that what all the stunts are?
Okay, sure. It was a bungee jump, actually. So there you go. I'm going to add a bonus question here because I think you may be able to get this. What famous movie actor is known for doing his own stunts?
There's a few of them, but
give me one.
Probably most recently Tom Cruise.
Yeah. Some Jackie Chan in there, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, final question.
Jackie Chan, I thought, did like all of his stunts. Like Tom Cruise does some of his stunts.
No, he does pretty much all of them. He was hanging on that plane with a guy. He does all of his own stunts. The jump off. Okay. Yeah, he jumps off the cliff.
I didn't think he did all of them. I'll have to look that one up.
Oh, you look it up. Okay, maybe not early in his career, but
he broke his arm during one of the Mission Impossibles, jumping from one building to another.
That was his ankle, but correct. Yes, he did.
Same thing.
Same thing. Final question: which stunt has your podmate not done? Which one have I not done? Have I not?
Oh, this is not multiple choice, right? So I can just guess.
This is multiple choice. You can just guess. What were you gonna guess? What are you gonna guess?
Like get off the couch in a speedy fashion.
Wow. Ooh, incorrect. All right, incorrect. Which one have I not done? Have I not been hang gliding? Have I not jumped off the GoldenEye Verzasca Dam? Have I not skydived? Skydived?
Skydiving?
Have I not swam with great white sharks? Which one have I not done?
Well, you have to have the great white sharks one because you're in the water all the time and you're an ocean dweller. Mm-hmm. So
skydive, hang glide, GoldenEye, bungee jump, or swim with great.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, I assume skydiving is one of the easier ones of those options. I'll go with the hang gliding.
Incorrect. Okay. I have done all of them except swim with great whites. I swam with blacktip, reef, and lemon. but no great whites trick.
Question.
Great whites is on
you
the
are
list.
a stunt man. You've done some crazy stuff, man.
I have done some crazy stuff.
Because it was the bonus question more like a
here we go. Wait for it.
Do you know this about me, or let me just tell you about myself?
I wanted to see how well you know your friends, and you don't know me.
I don't. You reveal new things all the time, which makes me think you make up half the stuff. Like I never knew about the refugee room that you went into.
I've told you this before. We've talked about this.
Incorrect.
Oh,
incorrect. You talk about your fear of penguins, and that was it from Antarctica.
My bad. Yeah, penguins are scary. You know what I mean? So,
okay. All right.
That's it. So I'm gonna give you, what is that? 2 out of 3, 2-ish. No, well, 1 out of 3, really. 1 out of 3. I'm gonna say fail. That's a fail.
That's a pass. All right. We've got one thing that I kind of mentioned at the beginning of the show is something that we both should be embarrassed about that came out on a recent episode. This is embarrassing for both of us. You don't really get embarrassed, so you'll probably lean into it and explain why you're still right, whatever that means about this. But
wow. Okay.
But prove me wrong, Derek. Okay, so we read a recent review on our show about the guy who said that we had dodgy sponsors.
Oh, right.
Some of them aren't even real. They don't even have real websites. Remember that?
Yeah, correct.
And we went into this rant about you can just skip past them and we don't know who's sponsoring at the beginning of the episode. Remember that whole thing?
Right.
Yeah. He was talking about our fake ads, dude. It was like a funny review, and we did not pick up on it. It went over both of our heads.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is sad, actually.
Yeah, I know. But the reason, here's
my
excuse.
Deadpan. I feel like it was deadpan, though. It was very
it's written, so you can't tell. But also, nobody ever gives us feedback about our fake ads, ever. I think we've had one person ever, and so we don't even know if people like them or not, or if they just skip past those like they do with the regular ones. So it's not even on our mind because nobody ever gives feedback about those things.
We're just shooting in the dark with those.
We are.
That's true.
All right.
That's funny.
Wow. Anyway, so that's David from New York. I found out who it was, and I ended up sending him a package from our random gearbox. So thanks for playing along, Dave. Thanks for the review. We really appreciate it. We apologize for being ignorant about what you're saying.
Wow. That is,
I'm
sorry. I feel bad. Okay. I feel bad. I wish we knew.
Well,
but now we do.
Okay. So we have another review though. And I sent it to you. Did you get it?
I got it right here by Mike McCrum. Yeah.
Mike McCrum.
Let's do it. I got into hiking in 2020 and backpacking in 2022. I suppose we could call them gifts of the lockdown. I was thankful to find a podcast that checked so many of my boxes. Similarly aged. Yep, a middle-aged guy here.
So similar to me, not to you. Go ahead.
That was funny. Okay. Hell yeah. That was good. Unbiased reviews of gear. I love the way that you're not afraid to ask tough questions from gear providers. And the Bible verse of the episode is a nice touch. I'm a pastor. Right. Keep up the good work, guys. And if you ever make it out to Michigan for some backpacking, let me know. Isle Royale pictured rocks are great spots. Mike McCrum, thank you, Mike.
Do you know who this is?
Probably you.
This is Pastor Mike.
Pastor Mike, that's right.
He's a pastor, right?
He is Pastor Mike.
Do you know who Pastor Mike is?
Your cat is
the cat. We named a cat Pastor Mike a long time ago.
Love that you're leaving cat reviews now. Just come to this, folks. I apologize, everybody. This is the level we've stooped to. Okay.
Everybody loves hearing about cats. We had a cat a long time ago, and we had a pastor of the church that we were attending. He's now pastor of Compass Church in Orange County. One of our Patreon supporters actually goes there, and he's kind of a pastor who doesn't. He's like a really good sermon giver, but not so much like a funny guy. And so we thought it'd be funny to name our cat after him. And so we got another Pastor Mike here. So Pastor Mike McCrum, thanks so much for the review. We really appreciate it. And welcome to backpacking. What's weird is I'm actually going to Michigan this week, like in a couple days.
Are you really?
Yeah. Not for backpacking though.
Just for what? Just for fun?
My uncle lives in Grand Rapids and his wife passed away. So we're going to a funeral. I wasn't super close with her. But my uncle is a backpacker, so I'm going to go out there and try to get him on a trip this year. So we'll see.
Cool. That's cool. You're supporting him, though. That's good.
Trying to. So,
nice.
But not going to those places, but thanks. We'll let you know, Pastor Mike.
Yeah. What do we have going on in Patreon this month? Tell us what's
Patreon,
going on.
yeah. So we have the behind-the-scenes story, part 2 of our crazy adventure in Canada. And so we have behind the scenes with Bill and Jesse. We had part 1 last month, part 2 this month. Of course, we have ad-free episodes. as always, our regular episodes and even some from the archives. So we've got a lot going on. Thanks for asking.
You're welcome.
We'd love it if you joined our Patreon family.
We would.
Yeah.
We would. We look forward to it.
That's all I got, my friend.
That's all I got. Guys, thanks for hanging with us, Alice and Carl. Thank you. Check us out on all the social media handles, Backpacking Blisters Podcast. And remember, guys, the next time Carl takes a drink of water, that is his big stunt of the day, because he usually does it with a fully closed cap and has to undo it. It's a whole thing. Otherwise, he spells it. We'll see you next time.